Is it not letting me type in chat? Like, seriously, what the fuck? Alright, fine, then we're gonna have to do it on the mobile. Welcome to Mystic Thoughts, the official Mystic Unigon podcast. Today's topic is Outcast. There, now let me type it. I don't know why it won't let me type it on the actual... Must be Streamlabs. Must be Streamlabs being a butthole. And I can't even... I want to pin it. There we go. Anyway. Now, all the stuff that I have, information-wise, about me being treated like an outcast is on my phone. So I'm going to be reading it off my phone. And we have the ornament for the tree. Of course, the cat is to be chilling right in front of. You know what? I'm going to put this one down further because I don't feel like standing up. I don't know if I made the loop big enough. But now it's going to hang right over the eagle that I stuck in there. Okay. Now this was originally going to be a big video that I was going to record on YouTube and do all this crazy crap with it, artwork included. I have not finished the artwork. I started the artwork, and then they cut the woods down behind our house, which is where I was going to do it. But anyway, read the Nightbot command. When I do podcasts, the normal Mystic Thoughts, I'm not going to interact with chat because I don't want to get distracted and go off on rabbit trails from my podcast topic. Unless I make it specifically an interactive one. Like, if we spin the wheel and it lands on dinosaurs, then that'll be a more interactive one. But if I'm sharing stories from, like, childhood and I don't want to forget any of my stories, then I will not be interacting. When we start the What's in the Box podcast, which will be more visual, because I'll be opening boxes and going through the crap that's in them. Call it crap, but some of it I'll probably keep, some of it I might not. Some of it ain't even mine. Some of it may be his, some of it may be the kids. I'm going to be separating that stuff. That's a visual podcast, that interactive too, if it brings nostalgia to anyone else. But if it's something specifically story related, like the last podcast was, today's is, certain things I will not interact with chat. So, no offense to anyone. Don't get upset if I don't. It's meant for listening. And remember, as pretty much all my stuff that I do here ends up on YouTube anyway. And I don't want to turn people off from watching my content if I'm a rabbit trail person. Now, if I start doing just chatting crap, which I might down the road, I don't know. I don't have a very socially active community, which sucks. I have more in the way of numbers, especially on YouTube. And I rarely get comments on my videos. And if I do get comments on my videos, it's usually something rude. And then I have to block the person. So it's like, the people that don't interact are probably haters that don't want to say something rude because they know they'll get blocked from my channel. Or, just people that don't know what to say, or, like me, I'll listen to stuff while I'm cooking or whatever. So now I have to research, because I did not redo anything with this for my Outcast. Now, I wrote the final form of this in July of last year, because I've added stuff here and there. And it's not really all in order. I'm going to try to put it in order for this podcast. The title of the video was going to be Embracing the Me That Not Everyone Sees, because a lot of this stuff not everyone knows about me. And just a reminder, I did not make this to receive pity or sympathy of any kind from anyone. I just want to make people aware that when you treat somebody like an outcast, when you exclude them from certain things, the mental damage that it does to that person. Because a lot of times it's happened to me and it's caused mental damage to me. I'm not trying to receive pity. It still hurts when I'm treated like an outcast, but at the same time, I get why it happened. I'm not normal. I'm different. And you know what? I'm proud of my being different, and there's a good reason for me being treated like an outcast, even though it hurts. But it's just to show you, be careful how you treat people, because you don't know what they're going, especially when you don't know what they're going through. Everybody's got different tastes, everybody's got different likes, dislikes, but in a social clique, treating one person like an outcast and not including them in your group just because of their being different and not embracing their differences can really freaking hurt, especially when they're younger. And most of the bad things that have happened to me, let's just say the worst thing in my book that happened to me was when I was still a child. And it pretty much shaped that being treated like an outcast. It shaped the whole thing. So pretty much I've been treated like an outcast from teenagehood up until now. Because of being treated like this, I've never really trusted anyone well enough to call them a best friend. Until my current work bestie or work wife, as a lot of people call it. I kind of, after the initial cause, or the initial bad thing, I've pretty much switched off the ability to trust people like that at that age, and it lasted a good while. And I feel like part of me being a tomboy, not being into girly things as much, I mean, I guess minus the My Little Ponies, but like, not liking dresses or makeup and fashion and all that bullshit. I think the whole tomboy thing is kind of the reason that I was treated that way, because I wasn't into the girly things. And, and being treated like an outcast, I think, has also been the cause of my depression, like, the initial cause of my depression. It's pretty much a life of solitude, yes, but also loneliness in the process of it. Like, there are some times when I like being alone. There are some times when I don't like being alone, but I have nobody to talk to because everybody's busy, or whatever. I just don't have somebody that I can message any time of day when I want somebody to talk to. It also, being treated like an outcast makes you feel worthless. It really does. And, like, nobody wants you around or in their lives. And I know I'm not the only one that feels like this. And yes, it fucking hurts. But it also doesn't help when family does stuff like that. And one of the ways that family can really hurt you and make you feel worthless is degrading you. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail about that, because that's pretty much a different topic. But, so the main 5 instances of being treated like an outcast, pretty much from birth through young childhood, all I can remember is pretty much good and fun times. And I had a best friend that lived next door. And we were pretty much the same age, and we'd always hang out and play and sleepovers and, you know, the good old stuff. Because we just walk across the yard and there we go. And to hang out. But then as we became teenagers, and we started learning who we were, things got a bit rocky. She dumped me as a friend because she was ready to grow up and I wanted to still pretty much stay a kid. She matured faster than me. Now, they say women mature faster than men, but we all mature at different rates. And you know what? I still act immature. I still laugh about farts. And you know what? I ain't never gonna frickin' stop. I still laugh about the number 69 or whatever. I make jokes about dumb shit all the time. And you know what? I don't care. It keeps me going. She wanted to mature before me. And I remember that day that I realized that she didn't want to be my friend anymore, when it got to the point where I called her on the phone to ask if she wanted to hang out, and she made an excuse not to, and she kept making excuses not to, and then I realized that she didn't want to be my friend anymore. And the day that I hung up the phone after I realized that, I cried. No lie. I fucking cried. And I'm crying now just thinking about it. 'Cause it shouldn't hurt, even now, but it still does. Because we had such a good childhood together. And I feel like she just pushed it all aside and didn't give a shit anymore. She lives in New York now, that's all I know. And I know she became a vegetarian, because it was funny, because she used to hate tomatoes. She used to hate a lot of vegetables, and then I found out from her mom that she became a vegetarian. Well, actually from my mom, who still actually hangs out with her parents. Like, my parents, the parents still hang out together, because mom always has, like, cookouts and stuff. So they always come over, and then they hear stuff. So, like, updates are on her. She also had an older sister who babysat us sometimes, and then the older sister had a daughter who's now, like, grown up. It's like, man, kids grow up quick. But yeah, this is where I realized I can't ever trust anyone as a best friend again. Now, cousins kind of don't count, because cousins, if you grow up together, because you're closer in family ties, you're more like brothers and sisters. Because that's pretty much how my cousins and I were. We were like brothers and sisters. Most of us, except for a couple, lived very close. And, like, practically right down the road. So we would always hang out, and I would always hang out. I got to the point after my best friend / neighbor dumped me, I hung out with my youngest cousin, babysat her. My aunt wanted to pay me. I'm like, no, you don't need to pay me anything. She's my cousin. She's like my little sister, and I love her in that way. Like, I'm gonna be like a big sister to her and care about her and take care of her and do what I can, and we'll have fun together. I was like, I didn't want my aunt to pay me. I didn't want her to feel like she had to pay me for babysitting her. It's like, no, we're cousins. We're having fun and hanging out. I'm just older. But it's like, yeah, no, you don't need to do that. Um, but aside even from family, I never fit in also as a teenager with my fellow youth at church. And I kind of realized they were all sort of immature teenagers, and because we were all getting our driver's licenses and crap at this time, and they were talking about doing stupid shit in the roads that I would never freaking do because it's dangerous. And I will not, go into what they said. But like, our church even had like a lockdown or whatever, a lock-in thing just for everybody to hang out, stay up all night. We could do sports or whatever, and like a few of us were kind of just the outcasts of the group and just kind of did our own things, because we just never really fit in with the group. But even in church, I hung out with the younger kids because I get along with kids. I'm a kid magnet. Like, if I'm somewhere where there's kids are drawn to me because I'm goofy and I'm weird and I do act immature in that sense. So I hung out with the kids, or I would talk to the adults, the parents, or whatever. And I felt like I fit in better with them or the kids than those my own age. So it's just kind of weird. But, I didn't let it get to me too much. But I guess it was just a teenage thing. Even in high school, my friends list was small. I only had a few close enough friends. One of them ended up unfriending me on Facebook for posting something that she got offended by, so yeah, she was a Karen, I guess. The other friend I haven't heard from in years. Her and I were in art together. And I did have a sleepover at her house, and then she had a sleepover at mine once. We went to Longwood Gardens together. And like I said, I haven't heard from her since, but she was one of the few that, like, I could trust. And granted, I went to a private school because it was founded by my church. But even in a private school, there's the cool kids group. It doesn't matter what kind of school you go to. There's still always going to be that cool kids group. And they have their own clique, their own thing, whatever. I was never part of it, and, I realized it didn't really matter. I guess the whole thing with me staying a child at heart, which I still am, obviously, and I'm, like I said, never going to change that. I kind of let it run my personality. And I think a lot of the time being that way kept me from letting my depression take over me after my former best friend, had dumped me. Like, it was still there, but it kept me from dwelling on it and focusing on it. Now, when I got older, realizing I needed to be more of an adult is when depression grew stronger, when I got out into the real world. Because I realized how many toxic people there are in the real world. And as long as you do things that involve the real world, you never stop encountering those type of people. And not even just IRL, but even on online games like World of Warcraft, there's lots of toxic people on there. And I know they made that whole new thing where you have to agree, don't be a jerk. Oh, the amount of jerk encounters that I've had in the past. Let's use a couple examples that I went through. And I should save this for a different podcast, but One person unfriended me just because I switched servers. Because the one we were on was dying and she didn't even play, she just hung out in the main city of Orgrimmar. She didn't even do anything. I would go out questing, but it was kind of... And I was still trying to make gold and all the other crap. But I couldn't make shit because freaking the server was just dead. And this was when the real friend ID thing started, where we could actually add somebody as a real friend ID, so, you can whisper them regardless of what freaking server you're on. But she acted like a child about it. And unfriended me just because I went to a more populated server to play the game, and to make more gold to do to buy things or whatever, do things that I wanted to do. So, yeah, she was very childish about that. And it's I never unfriend somebody if they leave the server I'm on. I don't care. We play on different servers. We have the messaging thing. Does it, it really doesn't freaking matter, but she made a big deal out of it. I don't know. One time, I was part of a guild. I joined a guild on one of the more active servers. And I think... I'm trying to remember the name. I think it was Crits and Giggles. Instead of doing Shits and Giggles, because obviously you can't. You can't do that. You get in trouble for that one. And they were pretty cool. In fact, my 30th birthday, as I mentioned before, they got me that Black Drake from the raid of the Obsidian Sanctum. Not long after that, because they didn't know that I was a Christian. They found that out, and they pretty much all rejected me. Now, I have one friend on Facebook, still from that guild, who never rejected me from that. I know she doesn't play anymore. She's older, but she's probably too old and doesn't feel like playing anymore. But she's still on my friends list. And I still see posts from her every now and again, and we interact to an extent. Because I don't really do a whole lot on Facebook, if you have me on Facebook. But she's still there. She's one of the few that did not reject me just because I was a Christian. I'm thinking to myself, you immediately outcast me once you found out I was a Christian. But did I ever once show that I judged you guys for not being Christians? No. No indication ever whatsoever. But yet, they're the ones that pulled the plug. So yeah, it's just the toxicity of people in the world. Because they assume all Christians are judging them. No, we fucking don't. And yeah, some of us have very foul mouths. I'll admit I do, and I think part of that's from working at Walmart. I blame retail for that, but I mean, college is overpriced and overrated anyway. Not a guaranteed paycheck, not a guaranteed job. So sometimes I wish I had kept my mouth shut about that whole being a Christian thing in that situation, but at the same time, I have to remind myself, everything happens for a reason. You learn lessons from the bad shit that happens to you. And you learn the real good people in the world versus those who aren't. Is kind of one of those reasons also why I keep to myself when I'm gaming, and I've gotten to the point where I just leveling and questing by myself. I know it's not the most exciting thing to watch, but I've also been used to being promised things in game and help with things in game, and never happened. But I mean, time frames are always weird and wacky anyway, so that makes sense. It is what it is. So yeah, even in gaming communities, even Discord communities, a lot of ones that I'm not active in, I don't feel like I fit in, and I only leave the ones where somebody's being a real dick. Um, but yeah, like, that's literally the reason if I've ever left a Discord. Either somebody who's being a jerk for no reason, or I really didn't fit in and didn't feel like I was ever gonna be active in it, so there was no point in me staying in it. So I've literally, over the years, I've been in over 100 Discords. I'm not at 100 currently. I still have my global servers that I made for emotes, but I since canceled um my subscription, which I had Classic, which was the cheapest one, and that was just to use the emotes. So, will I keep those servers? I guess, because I did have some cool emotes in them. I just can't use them anywhere except those servers, and I'm the only one in them. But if I've ever left servers, it's because either I really didn't fit in, or somebody was a jerk, or I just didn't make any specific friends in those communities that made it worth even staying in. Not, and like a lot of times that's like the owner of the server may have been the nicest person ever, but the games and whatever like they played or talked about or whatever, it just wasn't my thing. So I just left. Like, there's no point. I'm not gonna be active. Why stay? No offense to those people. They like what they like, I like what I like. Um, and, okay. When I did, you gotta remember, I'm 42 now. 2 years ago, in the workplace, there was a situation where I felt like I was being treated like an outcast, but before I even get into this story, let me just tell you part of this was my fault because I did not communicate with everyone involved. And I learned that afterwards. I should have communicated better. Communication is very lacking in the world today. It is lacking in the workplace, it is lacking in relationships. It's just lacking all around. It is what it is, unfortunately. So, at the time, 3 people who were friends, uh, 2 of them had already been at that store for a long time. One of them's married, the other was in a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. Then the third person was a new person. And the 3 of them, this is when I was Cap 1, the 3 of them instantly bonded. And were always hanging on each other. Always. And I always felt left out. At first, I tried letting the whole thing go. But I guess pulled a Sith move and let it anger me to the point where I ended up snapping. Because the one thing that made me really mad when our supervisor wasn't there were days that she wasn't there, and when she wasn't there, they would be off on their own little la la land doing whatever. And then management would come to me and ask me to do the things that took, first of all, more than one person to do, while those 3 were off in their own little la la adventure. And also got away with goofing off because our supervisor wasn't there. This caused me to snap. And when I snap, a lot of bad shit comes out of my mouth. Let me just say. I have anger anxiety. There it is. So I spoke how I felt in a very rude way and was practically in angry tears over it. Now, I probably should have, communicated better of how I felt, since, they were always, I called it, up each other's butt and leaving me out of their fun little conversations or whatever. But yeah, it just, I let the anger anxiety take over, and that wasn't right on my part. The new person acted like a child about the whole thing. And tried to continue triggering me whenever the opportunity came by saying stuff that implied it. Along with one of the other members. So that, like, the new person was the leader of it, kind of, and then the other person would just roll along with it. The third person, who was actually the guy of the group, just kind of ignored it and stayed out of it. So the two girls were became drama at me. I got to the point where, as I do a lot of annoying things, I grew to ignore it. And then eventually, the tension eased that had built up. And I don't like to burn bridges. I really don't. So finally, one day I decided, I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna say how I feel. I'm gonna apologize for snapping, etc. So I did apologize. Found out they weren't purposely excluding me, which I would have found out had I said something before that. So, yes, I was being a dumbass, but they also didn't realize they were hurting my feelings as well by excluding me. We pretty much all apologized, and then we're cool with each other. They just had an increase in friendship because they were sharing their own stories back and forth. They could have included me with it, though. But it's, I don't know, like, when it comes to, as they call it, gossip girls, like, you can share stuff with, like, I'm a good listener, but I think a lot of people don't always realize that. Like, I may not be able to give an answer if somebody tells me something that they've been through. I can listen, and I'm not gonna judge for whatever the situation is. I'm just good at listening, and I may not always come up with, I may not even be able to say something after you tell me, but at least I'm listening, I'm not judging you, I'm still here for you. I'm just sometimes slow at coming up with the right words at the right time for certain situations. But I'm a good listener. I will say that much. I do listen. And a lot of my good friends that know me well enough know that about me. So, always communicate. And even if you get that outcast vibe from someone, communicate. Sometimes it's not intentional. But you don't know unless you communicate. It is, like, and always apologize. Like, that's the humble thing to do. Always apologize. Because if you don't, it's just nagging and nagging and nagging and nagging, and it's, you know how a mom always nags for their kid to clean the room. Like, you know how annoying that is. It nags at your brain until you finally release it. So you know the pain of that. So even if you are in the right or wrong, if not for the sake of friendship, then for the sake of your own inner peace and the peace of those around you, just always apologize. Now, the positives about being treated like an outcast. You think, oh, what's even positive about that? It's such a negative word. And it is. But there are positives. In being treated like an outcast, some of the only real friends I've made in the workplace workplace who actually get me, actually weird like me. Like, currently my work wife. My former fart buddy, we'd always joke about farting together, and it made work. This is the people that make work bearable, you know what I mean? And you realize that you can trust them. The only thing that sucks about that is when you find that perfect work friend that you can joke about that one thing with, like my fart buddy. They either get fired or quit for another job, for a better job, whatever. Like, I get it. You find something better, I'm happy for you. I'm gonna miss your ass to death, but I'm happy for you. So then when that happens, I get left by myself, sometimes wondering if being created an outcast is a blessing or a curse. I don't know. It depends. And when that happens, it definitely feels like a curse. But even despite the times I was treated like an outcast in the workplace, I can honestly say that some of the best friends I've made in my lifetime are those who do get me and are still there. And we may not communicate as much. We have each other on Facebook anyway. I wouldn't trade them for anything. Now, think about it. The choices you make in life, you think back on those. Think, hey, if I had actually found something in college that I wanted to do and was a guaranteed paycheck, because what I wanted to do was not a guaranteed paycheck, which was art. I don't want to do something I don't want to do. I don't want to spend money on something that I don't want to do the rest of my life. Or spend money learning how to do something that I don't want to do the rest of my life. You know what I mean? Like, pretty much every other job is like that. Like, art I wanted to do. I wouldn't mind spending money if I knew it was a guaranteed paycheck, but as the art professor, Mom and I went to a short college course during summer one year. He said it, he was honest. He said it's not a guaranteed paycheck, but that does not mean that you stop doing art. You still do it, because he even told me that I had potential and I had talent. So pretty much any normal job, unless it is your dream job and you're happy doing it, or you are happy doing it, whatever, do the things you love on the side, and it keeps you going. Like, doing art keeps me going. Now, I've slacked quite a bit because I overdid it last year by trying to do shit every day, and just did not work. But yeah, the friends that I've made in retail, as much as I hate it too, I would never have made if I had made it through college. And you also think college comes with a lifelong debt. I mean, life is debt anyway, but that's kind of a bigger one. Money already causes depression as it is, and owing money causes depression. Like, they say money does not buy happiness. Bullshit. That is 100 per fucking cent bullshit. That is only spoken by a rich person who has more damn money than they know what to fucking do with. Let me just tell you one thing that would make me ecstatically happy: if some rich person dumped enough money on me, not necessarily to retire, as much as I want to, work kind of provides my content as well, some of it. I mean, I'd rather go part-time, but you don't have the benefits with that. If I was just given enough money to pay all the freaking debts that I have, get rid of the 2 dead paychecks, credit card bills, which one of them's very close, There's another one that's like a few $100s behind it. The other ones are like a little over 1,000, I think. There's like a couple. Was it Dell, GameStop, and then that uh the court thing, whatever, that I had, that I now have the $100 on top of. If I was given enough money to pay all those off instantly and not ever have to worry about them again, that would make me ecstatically happy right now. But, you know, it's never gonna happen. I'm not counting on it. So, like, if it would, let's just say, I'm trying to think how much money that would actually be. I think about $5,000 would clear all that, and I'd still have a little bit left. About 5,000 would cover all those debts, and I'd probably still have some left over. But then I would never have to worry about them again. I would never get another fucking credit card again, because now I know what a headache they become. It's like, yeah, you use it to buy shit you want, but then it becomes depression in the long run, because it feels like you're paying this shit forever. Money is depression. Well, owing money that you really wish you could not owe anymore. Like, I was happy when I got rid of the storage shed bill, because that was like $60 a month. So that was another $60 I didn't have to worry about anymore. Like, when I made that phone call to cancel it, it felt good. So yeah, money does buy happiness. Hate to tell you. Not for those who are rich, obviously, but for those of us that are barely making it paycheck to paycheck and trying to take care of a family, it does buy happiness. Anyway, like I said, things happen for a reason. I chose not to succeed through college. I was tired of fucking school. I just wanted to make money and not have to freaking pay for classes to do it. Now, granted, my parents paid for the classes I did, but I kept failing them because I just didn't want to be in school anymore. I wanted a freaking break, and they didn't want to listen to me about that, which was a mistake. And even still, whatever happens for a reason, things could always be worse than they are. Always remember that, too. But it's kind of weird when you're granted the ability to see what would have been. It does put a whole new perspective on your reality. Let's see, that was one positive. See, I have everything mixed up. Okay, positive number 2. Being a tomboy. Here we go. Because that's another reason I was treated like an outcast. Being a tomboy. I have a tendency of hanging out with guys or other tomboys because, in my experience, if you really think about it, the cool, trendy, preppy girls tend to act like they're better than everyone else, and only certain people are allowed in their clique or group. And 9 times out of 10, that group is all fucking drama, and I don't want nothing to do with that shit. Keep your gossip, keep your drama to yourself, don't include me, keep me out of it. Guys just hang out, have fun, the more the merrier, as long as you can, vibe with their sense of humor. Like, one of the reasons whenever Voss streams, most of his community is guys. And they call each other bitch and all the other stuff. And it's funny. Like, guys call each other names. But then, when chicks do that, they just get looked at like they're weird. Because, like, when I worked on overnights, there was a lady in the cash office, and we'd call each other bitch all the time. We'd be like, hey bitch, hey bitch. And we'd just be laughing about it. And management just give us that kind of weird side eye, like, what the hell is wrong with these two? It's like, we're just trying to have fun. If guys can call each other names, shit, so can we. Guys just know how to have fun more. And that's another thing that sucks about being a woman tomboy content creator. We're expected to be sexual icons. No! I don't want to be looked at like that. I don't like being hit on or flirted with. Now, if you're one of my friends and we already jokingly flirt, fine, I don't care, you're allowed. But some random weirdo that I don't fucking know trying to hit on me saying I'm beautiful and text me privately, blah blah blah. Like, no, bro, get the fuck out of here. That just, no. I don't want to be looked at like that. I want to be like one of the guys. I want to be funny. Because they say guys are funnier. Not always true. In general, for the content creation pyramid, yes, but which is why they're always have more subscribers, and the only reason a chick has a lot of subscribers is because she's freaking hot and sexy, and that's how she's looked at. Like, no, I want to be funny. I want to be there with I want to be on the guys level. I want to be funny and goofy and random and weird, because that's who I am, and I'm not changing that for anyone. But because I'm a female, that's kind of frowned upon. And this is another one of those things. If I ever get my non-existent balls and call the Ear Biscuits podcast, I do want to ask Rhett and Link how they feel about tomboys. Because we already know, if you've ever listened to Ear Biscuits or more of the recent ones, Link's admitted to having a thing for lesbians. And shit, a lot of lesbians are tomboys. Like, or even bisexual women are tomboys, like my work wife is. Like, I don't know, being a tomboy's just more fun. Although, yes, we get treated like an outcast a lot more, but at the same time, that's a good thing, because it keeps us from being included in drama. Like, ridiculous, pointless drama. And it gives us that opportunity to sit back and to actually observe. You know what I mean? Now there are, for positive number 3, I found a few outside communities that are looked down on by much of the world. And every community is going to have its bad eggs or things about it that people don't like or agree with. It is what it is. Therians, furries, there's always bad people in those communities, but there's good people in those communities too. You have to find out who the good ones are. They can be some of the most amazing people in the world. You just don't know it because you're a hater. You can call yourself a hater, but there's no reason for it. Like, I get not liking furries because of the not safe for work art. I get that. It's not all about that. You can't let yourself be closed-minded to one thing about a community that you don't like. Realize that it's not all about that one thing that you don't like. That's only a side part of it. But why the hell did my camera just blur? That's alright, this is supposed to be listening only. You're not, like, I wonder if this camera's about ready to take a shit and I'm gonna have to buy a new one. But anyway, the people who are in those communities that are watching this, or more or less listening to this, you know who you are. And I do love y'all. Now it's focused again. But yeah, people that, hate on a community just for one stupid little thing you don't like, grow up. That's all I'm gonna tell you. Grow the fuck up. Don't believe in hate comments. Because on my YouTube channel, if I get hate comments, bye-bye. Anyway. Pretty much, a lot of people, if I am part of those communities, a lot of people don't know. because you can't trust anyone. It's like, when you're treated like an outcast, your ability to trust just drops and drops and drops and drops and drops and drops. Keeps dropping. Now, one of those things, like I said, because of who I am, because of being different, because of being supportive of people that a lot of people don't agree with, or groups of people, communities, whatever, I'll never get famous. I don't count on it. I just know the right people will be part of my community. And even in your biggest dream, like, my biggest dream is to be a full-time content creator. Now, along with that, even if I did actually start making money being a content creator enough to where I could quit Walmart, I'll be completely honest with you, I would not quit fully. I would go part-time so that I could focus more on my content, but since a lot of my content currently comes from working at Walmart, and a lot of the best friends I have are there, yeah, I don't think I really could quit. Like, I would say it, or, like, I've said it in the past, and thought, man, I'm gonna quit at that first opportunity, even if I won the lottery, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm thinking to myself, wait, if I did that, shit would get boring, because I realized that this past vacation that I took last week, I missed my work wife. And not just her, like, other people on my team that I'm friends with. Like, I miss just that interaction with those friends, because it's like those friends that I can actually trust on my team. Or not even necessarily my team, my former supervisor of Cap 1. And it's like, yeah, I can message them on Facebook, but it's not the same thing as actually being there with them. Like, that real human interaction means a lot more than people realize when you make a friend like that. So I could never quit fully if I made enough money doing this to quit. I would stay part-time. And some of those people do support. My work wife definitely does. In fact, her daughter calls me Aunt Mystic, so like, even in big dreams, like I said, your biggest dreams, there's going to be haters. Because there's going to be people that are jealous that they gave up on their dream. Even if their dream is the same as the one that you've now accomplished. If I became a full-time content creator, I'd still get haters, because people be freaking jealous. Well, you wouldn't be jealous if you didn't fucking give up. Yes, my first video, my first piece of content that I ever officially made, I made in 2016. That was not that long ago. It definitely doesn't feel that long ago. My daughter was 3. That was not that long ago. I have not been doing it for that long, but I feel like I've been doing it forever. And I'm still at the beginning. Because like I said before, I don't get the interactions in my comments and on my videos. And I mean, that's fine. I get watches, because at least I see that certain amount, so-and-so amount of people watched it. But I do eventually want more interactive people in my chat, because I had to stop the Sunday shoutouts because all I was getting was stupid hate comments or flirty comments, or it's pretty much anything that's going on the damn Karen Voodoo board. And I'm like, I can't give shout outs if people aren't gonna leave nice comments. Like, I wanna be able to give shout outs. But I need people who actually leave nice comments. So I can't do Sunday shout outs until I get more people being active in the comments. Now, I know YouTube sucks sometimes because for certain things that are in the videos, like toys and whatever, they turn the freaking comments off. I didn't even look to see if my last podcast had comments turned off because you see the My Little Ponies behind me. You see my plushies on the shelves back there. Well, you didn't see them in the other one because I had that curtain across. That thing was getting annoying. So it's like, it kind of makes me wonder, like, just because there's toys in the background, and it's not for kids, obviously, because I'm cussing in it, we still turn the comments off because there's toys. Like, ugh. Like, I want interactions, but I'm still a child at heart. My content is focused on adults, even if the shit behind me is a fucking toy. Which is an annoying thing about YouTube, but I mean, it sucks. They fucked up, we gotta suffer. But it is what it is. And there's also, if you think about it, even in being an outcast, people think you're gullible. And think you're easy to take advantage of. And they'll pretend to support me. Because I've had this happen before. And then turn around when they've earned my trust and stab me right in the back. Like those so-called friends who already have. The backstabbers. And I think outcasts, like myself, get stabbed in the back the most. Because we already are outcasts. And then it's kind of like their evil plan to let us join their little clique or group. And then as soon as they earn our trust, bam. So yeah, if you've ever had that happen, you know how that feels. And I don't know why, but the pain that those types of people cause has such a negative effect that it tends to outweigh the love from those who actually do support me. Unless, like, I'd just been stabbed in the back and I have nobody to talk to, but then a friend actually messages me something that's loving, supportive, encouraging. Like, the bad thing is outweighing the good thing until somebody actually brings the good thing right to my door. And I've had the best friends are the friends that have done that unknowingly. Like, they didn't know I was literally just stabbed in the back by somebody else and sent me something that made me feel better. And that's the best feeling in the world, when somebody actually does that. Not even knowing that you've just been hurt by somebody else. And they send you something either funny, like, we'll just say my former supervisor at my other store, he had stepped down, but we're still friends on Facebook and send each other memes and shit all the time. I remember one time, like, somebody really friggin' hurt me, and then he sent me the greatest meme ever, and it just cheered me right up. Like, we knew, even when we worked together, if one of us was having a shit day, we knew how to cheer each other up. Wasn't hard. And those are the kind of friends you need. The ones that can do that, like, immediately. And it's, like, life should not have to be that way. You should not have to get stabbed in the back by people. People should not take advantage of other people. Like, it's just not right. This is another reason I put such a high priority on mental health. Mine'll drop to the point of my having no energy or inspiration to even care if I live another day. If something bad enough brings me down. But, as I've said, I will never change who I am for anyone or to fit in with a crowd or clique or group, whatever. Because, in all honesty, I'm proud to be my own uniquely weird self. Even if I do get stuck working at Walmart and being a Walmart loser, as most people call us, because we get treated like garbage by customers all the fucking time, until my last breath. Now, I do hope to retire, and at least making content, if I retire from there, I won't be bored, because I can still be making content, I'll still be shopping there. Because only in a few months, the discount card will be mine permanently, and I still have my original one. It still friggin' works. Alright. Let me see something here. I only have one more positive thing. Short positive thing. So, if y'all ever see me crying happy tears, they're extremely rare. And I always feel like, because of, the shit that's happened to me, being an outcast and all, I don't feel like I deserve happiness. Because a lot of times, when something really good happens, something bad comes along and freaking ruins it, and then I end up crying the other kind. However, if you are one of those ones who creates those happy tears, or are among those who I can truly call a friend because you haven't walked away during my bad times, as a lot of people have in the past, just remember this. You're a hero in my story. And I know I said I wasn't going to be interactive with chat, but I just want to tell you, Mimi, since you're here watching, you're one of those heroes. I love you. You're amazing. Don't ever stop. Alright, negatives. Because, yeah, y'all didn't believe that there were positives in this. Negative number 1. Okay. I've already pretty much said this. The reason I'm treated like an outcast is because I'm a tomboy. I don't do girly stuff. I hate dresses. And you'll never see me in high heels unless when I die you want to put them on my dead body. You can do that all you want. I don't give a shit because I'll be dead. And I'll be up in heaven. I'll be heaven probably flipping you off. No, just kidding. Just kidding. High heels are ugly, in my opinion. And this is another one of those things for the Star Wars fans out there who hate Jar Jar Binks. High heels make me fucking clumsy. I am clumsy. Like Jar Jar Binks. I'm at that age now. We're just walking up and down the damn steps here to the basement. I hold on to that railing almost for dear life, because I'm afraid if I make one slip, I'm gonna fucking hurt something, because I'm 42 years old now. I gotta be more careful. I don't want to break something, because I know it's gonna take longer to heal. And walking in heels is a hell of a no-no, because I'd probably break my ankles trying to walk in the damn things. Like I said, I think they're ugly. Dresses are just uncomfortable. I have thunder thighs. Like, I literally have to wear shorts with the damn things. I just don't like girly shit. It is what it is. And the whole makeup thing. Let's go into that. Cause yeah, y'all heard the glamour shot story in the other one. And like I said, it didn't look like me. And then I mentioned something to a work friend on Facebook about glamour shots, because she posted something about glamour shots, and she's like, I want to see that picture. And I'm thinking to myself, oh god, no, I gotta take a picture of that picture, and I'll just send it to her on Messenger. But the last time, now when I went from night shift to day shift, which I hate, by the way, he needs a car so that I can go back to night shift. I decided, well, I'm on day shift, I'm around customers again. I guess it would, be good of me to look nice. So I put a little bit of makeup on. That first fucking day that I started back on day shift with makeup on, I got hit on. And it pissed me off so fucking bad. And the first thing that... Oh, I was rude to the dude. He's like... He thought I was still on night shift because night shift and the early day shift kind of merge into each other. Because our cap 1 there was 4-1. When I switched to this store, it was 5-2. And now they're changing it 7-4, so I'm glad I completely got out of there, because the online shopper thing is 5-2, and I heard that they're not changing that anytime soon, which thank God. Because 7-4, fuck no, I don't want to do it again. But we were 4-1 on cap 1 at that store. So this guy came in, I guess, right as soon as the store opened, because, early is the best time, you're beating the crowd, whatever. He thought I was a night shift worker, and I was getting off in an hour. And I was like, unfortunately, no, my day just started. So yeah, this is how rudely I was talking to him. Unfortunately, no, my day just started. And I just was, he was consistently, trying but not trying to flirt and hook up with me. He finally got the hint that I didn't want nothing to do with his ass and walked away. But the thought that went through my head was, how dare any man be worth my time if I'm only attractive and approachable to flirt, hopefully get a date or flirt with, when I have makeup on, when I look fake. The only makeup I ever doing is paint my nails, and I'm now in a position where I can paint them and it won't chip off as bad. You see how lazy I am? I haven't done it! I did it once or twice and that was it. I'm still lazy as shit and don't take it off, I let it chip off. But it doesn't chip off as quickly as when you're a stalker and opening boxes and all that crap. But I'm thinking, how dare anyone, any man, or anyone at all, be attracted to me just because I have makeup on? That's ultimate turn off right there. No. You can't take me from my natural look. You can fuck right off. So, that was the day that I decided makeup goes in the trash. Not touching it no more, except for the nail polish, which I have too many damn bottles of. And I have to go through every once in a while and see which ones are dried up. So, obviously, makeup made me look prettier. And not wearing it, being a tomboy, makes me not very physically attractive. And I'm happy that way. Because I don't, like I said, that pissed me off. I don't like being hit on. It is what it is. At the most, I think I'm just average in looks. And like I said, I'm fine with that. I can live with that. Oh yeah, and then I put the whole little, I did glamour shots at 21. But like I said, picture don't look like me. It looks fake. Because they literally fake and layer the damn makeup on. And it sucks. And it's annoying. I still keep that picture. Obviously, I'm not gonna get rid of it because it's a memory, I guess, in a way. Well, I knew she was trying to do something special for my birthday. And yeah, the picture's nice, but yeah, I'll always keep that picture. But if you think about it, watch out for those fake friends. Because they may have a mask on. And then they may end up stabbing you in the back. So there's a good example. Makeup making you look fake. No, actually, there's a funny joke that my cousin, well, not really a joke, but my aunt, the one that wanted to pay me for babysitting my youngest cousin, the older brother said, or asked his mom, my aunt, Mom, why don't you dye your hair? Because it looks fake. Then why do you wear makeup? She couldn't answer. She never dyed her hair, she just let her grays grow out. But she did wear makeup to work. I don't even think she really dealt with customers that much. I don't know, maybe I could be wrong. Negative number 2. I've also been called stupid and told I would never amount to anything in this life. But, now, unfortunately, that was my mother who said that. She's changed since then, so thankfully that was a long time ago. Now, that was childhood, which was not good, because your childhood can ruin you, as it's kind of ruined me in a sense. But now I see that not amounting to anything big, like college, as people think that college will, bring them, that's okay. Life's only temporary. What really matters is what you leave behind. Doesn't matter what your fucking job is. Doesn't matter what your social status is. Doesn't matter what you achieve in this life. If you leave positive things behind when you leave this life, that's what you'll be remembered for. If you treat people like garbage, when you leave this life, that's what you'll be remembered for. Plain and simple. What you leave behind matters more than any achievement you make in this life. What will you be remembered for? And remembering that, even though, because of a lot of that stuff that I've had happen, I have severe low self-esteem. I don't know if that's one of those things I'll ever heal from, being called stupid and unattractive by my own mom, but I've embraced it, so I guess that's a form of healing? I don't know. I guess you could say it's kept me more humble, which is a more noble personality trait anyway. And I've gotten to the point that I'm so used to being made to feel like I'm an outcast, not good enough, that there are even times where I lose focus on what fighting for your dreams even means. But I'm still fighting for them. There have been times when I say I'm quitting, but then the right person comes along and cheers me up and I don't quit. How many breaks have I taken since I started this YouTube channel? Or my YouTube channel? A lot. How many times have I lost count. I don't keep track of any of that stuff. How many times have I taken breaks from streaming on Twitch? I've taken plenty. And I refuse to go to other platforms just because there's hype. I hate hype. I can't stand it. The whole freaking kick thing drives me nuts. I've literally muted the word kick from Twitter. I do not see it ever, because I got so tired of the hype. And I have this feeling that eventually it's going to be just like Mixer and die. But if that comes true, there. I said it, and I'm not the first one that said it, because Argron said it too. Like, there's a few of us that feel like that is eventually going to happen. But y'all want to go there? Fine. Don't care. don't expect to see me in your chat, because my phone's old as fuck and it's running out of room. I need a new phone. I ain't got the money for that shit. I'm gradually deleting apps that, do I really need them? Nah, bye. Get rid of them. And I still keep getting that storage space running out bullshit, which is annoying as hell. This phone, by itself, only has 64 gigabytes of space. 64! That's not a lot! That was a lot in 2020 when I got it. But you know, with the unnecessary apps that are always part of a smartphone that update randomly, taking up all this unnecessary space. And then the apps that I actually fucking use, and certain ones can't be moved to SD card, well, yeah, that's just life. And it's just like almost every day I wake up to the damn storage space running out thing and I have to find which one it is. Oh, it's hell. I don't know if I ever have the money to get a new phone. I don't. But I may switch to the kind Mom's using because I think it's cheaper. I love my Galaxies though. I want the newer Galaxy, but still a lot of money. Trying to see where I left off, because of course I had this all written out on my phone. So, yeah, trying not to lose sight of what fighting for your dreams means. There are some days I'm just fighting to mentally make it through the day. And there are times when, yes, I say I hate fake, but if I don't trust somebody, I'm gonna fucking pretend that I'm happy and put on a fake smile, because I don't trust them to tell them the truth. And I know I'm not the only one that does that. Because I know that person, even if I was crying or walking around with a frown or whatever, I already, like, my gut tells me they don't give a shit about my feelings, so there's no point in even... Sometimes there's no point in being real. Sometimes you gotta be fake, just so, you know, you can avoid them. But yeah. So as much as, yeah, I hate fake people who have hurt my mental health sometimes, being fake is necessary. Because sometimes honesty and opening up might make things worse. Negative number 3. Being an outcast has definitely labeled me a unique breed of woman, and has caused me to stand back, observe others having fun while I remain in the corner, kind of like the fly on the wall. Because I'm weird, different, and just not cool enough to be accepted in the normal, popular people groups or cliques, kind of like the one at church, for example. I've learned to accept this, but unfortunately it still hurts every time when I'm left out and left alone. At the same time, being alone allows me to see people's true colors, help me decide if I do really want to be part of their crowd or not. Because then I can stand back at a distance and tell if they're drama, and if they're drama, nope, bye. It's still a pain and suffering that I cannot explain, and I know I'm not alone in dealing with it. So, for those of you who are in a similar boat, you are always welcome in my community, just so you know. Negative number 4. Being an outcast is a tough life, but I see more truth in what happens around me than I would have if I remained part of the church. Because, yes, even Christians treat their own like outcasts. Every church I've become part of, or tried to become part of because people have recommended them to me, has pretty much treated me like an outcast. The only church that I did like was my home one, but that's in Pennsylvania, and it's too far away, so... Unless they had, like, an online service, or, like, if they had the thing that recorded it for online, there's no point in me even trying another church, especially with all the religious pamphlets that I found on my freaking car and shoved in our freaking door on Saturdays when we've come home from work. Like, that's just them not knowing we're Christians and trying to shove religion in our face, and I hate people that do that, so those are, yeah. But yeah, every church pretty much that I've tried in the past treated me like an outcast. I didn't need it. I realized I didn't need it. They all want money like everybody frickin' else. I don't need it to be who I was meant to be. So, that, with the added help of my guardian angels, and yes, I firmly believe we have more than one guardian angel. It could be our pets, former pets, which a lot of people I know believe in that one. I know Mimi believe in that one. My guardian angels have inspired me to keep fighting for what I need to do to make myself happy and mentally strong enough to get through this life, to keep spreading that love, support, and encouragement to those who need it. And be someone who believes in them, even when others didn't believe in me. So I have to remind myself, the reason my haters want to see me fail, they already have, because they gave up, and they think it's too late for them to succeed in their own happiness. But haters, remember that bringing others down because of your jealousy does not lead to success or happiness, and it never fucking will. So, my ultimate message to the haters, let shit go. Move on with your life. If you're gonna be a jerk, stay out of my life, or anyone else's that you treat like garbage, because before you know it, you'll be on your own deathbed and regret that you didn't keep fighting for your own happiness, success, and that what you're leaving behind is a negative impact on those people that you've encountered. It's not worth it. You just wasted your time and energy leaking more hate into the world and mental illness into people that did not deserve it. Don't treat people like an outcast. Don't stab them in the back. Final thoughts. Because I've gotten this a lot, and it pisses me off when people do this. It pisses me off when people advertise this. The whole therapist thing. If a therapist works for you, fine, do it. Don't shove it in other people's face. Do not shove it in other people's faces. Now, I love Rhett and Link. I love Good Mythical Morning. I love their podcasts. They're amazing content creators, and I fully support them. But their whole thing on therapists, I can't stand. That is the only thing about them that I really cannot stand. I firmly, my personal opinion, do not believe in seeing therapists for any mental illness. They are just another representation of the greed and selfishness that consumes the minds of way too many people in our world today, because all they want is money. They don't care about you. If you got a lot of money, guess what? They don't care about your feelings or nothing. They're getting money from you. So let's say whatever the fuck you want them to say to make you happy. All they care about is that paycheck. I ain't got money for that shit, and even if I did, I still wouldn't do it. I have my own ways. I have my own forms of therapy. No examples off the top, but art, poetry. Poetry helps me release my feelings perfectly well. And I haven't really written much lately because I also have friends that I can talk to. I'd rather talk to a friend about issues, a friend that I can actually trust, than some dude with a fucking degree that I don't even know, who's making all this money off me just to tell me what he thinks I want to hear. Like, I'd rather be able to talk to a real friend that's going through the same shit and understands exactly how I'm feeling. That means a hell of a lot more, but that's just me. You want to do therapy? That's you. This is just my personal opinions. Don't give me no shade about it. But I'm just saying this from my standpoint. Like I said, therapy is doing what makes me happy. Watching a favorite movie, art, writing, playing well. You could say that's therapy too. Or any video game. There are some days when I don't want to play WoW. And I want to do something that's more relaxing. So I'll jump into Minecraft and get in creative mode, because that's the only way I'll play it. Or, like I said, talking to a good friend. The one thing I do want to leave behind for those judgmental, hypocritical Christians out there with their love the sinner, hate the sin cop-out, I don't judge anyone. I don't care if you're trans, bisexual, whatever. I don't care. If you're nice to me, I'll be nice to you, and we're just hunky-dory. We're fine. We're perfect. Like, I have no issues with you. You live your life how you want to live. Just don't shove it in my face, because that's the only thing I asked. Don't shove it in my face. Don't try to push it on me. But if we have stuff in common, you be my friend, I'll be yours, whole kind of thing, we're fine. I have no issues with you at all. I don't care what you do. I don't know what I don't care what your sexual preference is. It's fine. I'm not gonna judge you at all. Christians have fallen away from that. They're still judging. Jesus was friend of sinners. It's in the Bible. It's in worship songs. It is in bold letters. It's not hard to find it and read it. It's really not. But in that, I do put a deeper value in friendship than a lot of people. Even though I've had a lot of friendships go sour. You could say my heart is covered in freaking scars. And it feels like it's so covered that there shouldn't even be room for anymore. Because of the times I've been hurt. And I still love. And I still don't judge. I also want to leave behind my love, support, and a true understanding that even though I was hurt more than I ever did to anyone, I stood up for those like me who are different, constantly treated like outcasts by the rest of the world. I know how it feels. But even when you do get treated like that, don't change who you are for anyone. Just don't. In a way, being socially and physically unattractive tomboy has made me realize my unique personality is infinitely more important than outward beauty. And so is my heart that never stops caring for the mental health of others. So remember that when you exclude others from your fun and activities in life, people will die of sadness because they think that no one loves them. How you treat others around you is important. Don't let a smile fool you into thinking they're okay, because more times than not, it could be a fake smile. And if anyone treats you like an outcast, y'all need to open your mouth and call them out on it. I know I do too, because I made that mistake at work and not saying how I felt. And it was all just a misunderstanding that could have been avoided had I said something. But call them out. Talk to them. Like, if they're a good listening person, they'll understand. They'll listen and they'll understand. I wish I had done that. Try not to let your emotions overrun your brain, like I did. If people do apologize for treating you like that, but then they turn around and do it again, then it's time to cut them out of your life. Because I never had an issue with those people after we talked it out. Now, one of them had blocked me on Facebook and never unblocked me. But she's got a busy enough life, so I'm not worried about it. I still talk to the other two because they're still there. Only a sincere apology leads to a change in behavior. The one who doesn't change is just trying to manipulate you into being accepting of their bad behavior. So, if you're wondering if I've fully embraced being labeled as an outcast, I have not. Fully. Mostly yes, but not fully. And probably never will. As long as it keeps happening. Well, it hasn't happened recently. Fingers crossed that it stays that way. I don't believe I'll ever heal. Until the day I leave this world. But, who knows? Maybe sharing my story as a step in that direction. Since literally I have it written, and writing has become one of my forms of therapy. So, special thanks to, for all you Star Trek nerds. I'm probably going to butcher the name because I'm horrible at, pronouncing names. Manu and Teremi for encouraging me to love my unique, weird self, no matter what others think. He was Icheb in Star Trek Voyager. Thanks to Mark Anthony Austin for the inspiration to continue to pursue my love of creating art and showing me how I do belong in the Star Wars community. And all the communities and family, IRL and online, that have accepted me for me and did not treat me like an outcast. Final thought. Which I started at one point and then totally forgot about because it was going to be part of the YouTube video. I wrote a poem on being an outcast. Because this is supposed to go with the artwork, which, like I said, I've never finished, and the trees were cut down because I was gonna stick the pieces of artwork to the trees and read through a whole little thing that corresponded to each one. Which I've already read all that. The artwork I may finish and just do something else with it. I don't know yet. But my poem on being an outcast for the final part of this podcast. I was once a seed in this big world you see, but little did I know what would become of me. As I started growing, I found myself a friend, and it broke my heart that friendship had to end. It made it hard to trust another soul like this. I realized I was different, and wondered what was amiss. All through life I've faced it, not being in the crowd, but I refused to change myself, because so many cliques were loud. I learned that independence and the value of solitude has helped me see the world, and those in groups who are quite rude. It's kept me from being drama, but it's lonely sometimes as well. I'll never find that perfect clique where I fit in as me. Oh well. I don't know why I keep trying, and the outcome is the same. I'm just not good enough for those who left me for their fame. I'm used to this, my burden, and it also burns like hell to be a social outcast. But this is where I fell. Thank y'all for listening. Love y'all, and thank y'all for the support. If you find that any of this is relatable, you're more than welcome to join Mystic Fellowship. Let's be outcasts together and accepting of one another, especially if the rest of the world won't accept us. Now let's see if there's somebody I can read. Alright. We will raid John, because he's the only one home. We will drop John a raid and hang out there. I was going to do an art stream after this, but I still have a bit of a headache left from the past few days. It keeps going back and forth, so I might do the starting part and just make a video. Love y'all.